Call the Pownal Select Board meeting to order on Thursday, April 19th at 7 PM. For the agenda approval of the minutes of 3/29/18, 3/12/18, warrants, mail, transfer station supervisor operational report, any public comments that might be needed. And under old business, we're gonna talk about the website and Green Lantern solar agreements. And then under new business, we're gonna do selectmen appointments for this year. And I also, the health officer has asked that we make a statement to the public that even though we've got the snow and stuff, there's lots of ticks that are out. And so be aware when you're out and about that you're careful and go from there. Okay. With that, I get a motion to approve these agenda.
So moved.
A second.
Jinx.
Anything to be added or otherwise? All those in favor say aye.
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 Approval of the minutes of 3/29/18.
So moved.
A second.
Second. I'll take that one.
Any discussion on the minutes?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approval of the minutes of 4/12/18.
So moved.
Got a motion, got a second?
I'll second.
All those in the, yeah, any discussion on those minutes? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nays? Okay, so carried. Warrants. Okay, payroll ending 4/20/18 in the amount of $7,304.59. Accounts payable ending 4/20/18 in the amount of $16,108.94. The sheriff was 4,500 for the month end, then basically TM was the next big one at 29. Of course, the IRS at 2,000 or something. What's your pleasure on the warrants, guys? Get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
There. Any further discussion on them? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions?
Nelson, could you just read the account payable figure again?
Yep. $16,108.94. Okay. In our mail, we have from our treasurer, the town of Pownal general fund balance sheets for the various funds. Until we had a report.
There was an expenditure report too.
And an
I'll be on my desk.
Okay, and an expenditure report that the board got to look at and see. Okay, for my Agency of Transportation Department of Motor Vehicle Weight Permit for the town of Pownal, we have Phoenix Feeds and Nutrition, Inc. Our road foreman has already looked at this and approved it. I'll go through these, then we'll just approve them all. Unless there's someone that sticks out that you want to talk about, then just raise your voice. The next one is for Tatro. And again, Joel has done everything and signed off on that one. Joel being our road foreman, for those that don't know out there. Then you got Barrett Trucking Company, Inc. And again, the same thing, the road foreman has looked at this and signed off on it. And that's it. What's your pleasure, guys?
Motion to sign.
Second.
Any discussion on any of them? They all have their insurance and everything with them. All those in favor say aye.
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 Sign them. So, people will get picked up by our sheriff and prosecuted. Okay. We have Thursday, May 17th. That date rings a bell, right? Thursday, May 17th, at West Mountain Inn, Bennington County Regional Commission will have their annual dinner and meeting. For those of us that wish to go, Please let Linda know.
Can we all go and skip the meeting?
If there's nothing on the agenda that day, if we can get through the town plan and some other things, you might be able to do that by May 17th.
We generally go.
Do we?
Yes.
Oh, great.
So it's a matter of how well we move on the other stuff. Okay, then we have from Vermont Transportation Board, person has sent us down a thing to do with they're getting a steady stream of permits, applications to do with helicopter pads and other aviation facilities, water landing and airstrips. And basically the short of this is that he's asking the local boards to come up with some rules of their own, and anything that they can help with to guide them, they would like to have sent to them as well in guidance. Because usually what happens is, in the old procedure that's been long ago, as he wrote here, basically says that they'll consider the applications, and applications be supporting and showing that the proposed facility has received municipal approval. So I don't know if we have anything in our bylaws that talks about helipads or not. It's been so long ago. I know we had somebody tried to come in once and we had a big discussion and the DRB dealt with it, but it never occurred.
Well, the helicopters have landed at the school a couple times.
Yeah, emergency, right?
Also landed,
Yeah, still they landed.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, this is for
They're
private
not coming
people.
looking for pot. Oh, this is for somebody who wants to put a helicopter up?
Yeah, put a helicopter pad next to their house or an airfield, or land on Barber's Pond or Thompson Pond, those sort of things. They're looking for guidance, that's all, for what the town feels would be appropriate.
That was sent to all towns, right?
Yes. Not just ours. Okay, and then we have a report from our BCRC representative, Ms. Dragon, to do with housing. And basically, the BCRC did a current housing conditions and then the strategies of that. Strategic design, land use regulations, adapted reuse. Other strategies, create state designated neighborhood, improve existing housing, and presentation to Hale Resorts and Vermont Futures projects with our organizations that have done some of this in the Bennington Housing Authority. This is going up on our website where you can read it in detail and get the various information. But basically, this is the type of information that our planning board will look at and make decisions on their bylaws, because it talks about densities of housing and other types of things to do with our actual housing stock in town.
Can I point something out that's in there? That it was a takeaway that I had last night from that meeting is that, like, for instance, at Hale Resources, they're working from a different set of numbers than the BCRC is. So I was saying that it would really, like for stats for vacancy of houses, types of housing, things like that, their numbers were different than the BCRC numbers. So I would recommend also looking at that other study, which I gave the name of in there.
And I would hope that the PC, and they're looking and reviewing this in those studies, would actually conduct a study in the town. It might be well worth us doing that because our housing stock has changed a little bit. You know, if you go to Roy Trailer Park, it used to be full of trailers. Now a lot of those aren't even habitable. So,
Yeah.
so I think our housing stock has changed drastically from what it used to be. And a good survey of that, because usually these sensors and the things that they take are usually 5 to 6 years old or
Yeah.
10 years old.
I can ask at the BCRC if they have resources that help towns conduct such surveys.
Yeah, I know that.
and-
Yeah,
Like they may already have like a format, way that they do that. I'm happy to inquire.
Super.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, because I think the more information, the better information we get, lets the planners then decide how to
Yeah.
wrap that stuff up. Okay, moving on. Forget to put that in the nail. Okay, transfer station supervisor report.
okay. Get my luxury chair up here. Let's push it back in.
Yeah, push right down, push under this, where they got.
It's a good one anyhow. All right, we'll slide them one down that way. well, we've kind of weathered the winter. I have to thank Joel and his crew for keeping us open and all these things since our last meeting. We've all known what we've gone through, but they've done a great job for us and coming and plowing, sanding, and sometimes I even had to get one of the plow trucks, but that was okay too. They were short-handed and they were swamped, but that's not a problem. And so let's just start my report here. The shed demolition. We have the applications have all been sent in to the EPA and Department of Health, and our asbestos testing came in negative, so we're fine. Joel and I have been discussing this, but with this kind of weather, we're not going to take it down. So we're going to try to set it up that we can do the demo, and then hopefully just leave the equipment there the next day and have the units come in. But we'll do that on days that we're not open, like Mondays and Tuesdays, hopefully.
So when would you have construction debris removed? Once you tear it down and you
Well,
fill all
it'll be
your containers?
removed that
And
day.
you fill all your containers? And,
No, what we're going to do is we're just going to put it in the dump trucks and take it down to town.
oh, good, take it right to team.
Take it right to him. We're not even going to do the containers. No, we're just going to.
And
That's
TM
faster. That's faster, and we can do that, and then they'll just bill us. You know, we certainly have an account there. Trust me. You know, I know we have an account there.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing with the tire shed. We've got the Green Up Day coming up on May 5th. It's a big day. I've been working with the Pownal Proud people. We've been trying. Oh, I got one more. I do have to thank Linda for the shed demolition for helping me getting the right papers and so forth. I must thank her for that.
You're welcome.
For the demo, for the EPA and the health and so forth. So I've been getting a lot of help from our other people in the town. So it's really nice to have a good relationship like that. All right, now go back to the Green Up Vermont Days, May 5th. The Pownal Proud people, we've been working with things. We're going to have a dumpster set up down at the Legion, and I'm going to have coffee. I've already gotten the coupons from Vermont Coffee Company, and I'm going to do some dogs, some veggie burgers or whatever, and we're going to try to have like a little picnic there for people coming in. I'll get the water and stuff. With my catering experience, I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. You know, it'll be fine. So we're gonna do that this year, and we're gonna give out some prizes. Megan has been taking some. She has these little houses she painted up in rocks and put them around, and people come in, and we're gonna give them prizes and so forth.
Okay.
So we're working with that. You know, we were very fortunate. Bruce, allowed us to use the Legion, gave us a spot, and so forth. So I'm happy, we're getting a lot of help from the community too, along with TAM. They're helping out. So we're going to be doing that, and we'll have I'll be down there handing out bags. They'll be handing out bags up at the transfer station too. I'm not even going to go up that morning. We'll have it all set up for the guys. So I'll just start down there. No sense in me running up and back.
So there would be bags at the transfer station
There'll
and
be,
at the Legion?
There'll be bags at the transfer station and at the Legion.
Great.
And I'll be there before 8 o'clock. And people want to come in, and then I'll have sign-up sheets and see where they want to go, and we'll get together and make lists of roads in the town. They don't want you doing the main highways.
But 346 and 7,
346 and 7 are off limits.
but all the rest are.
All the rest, yeah, because this is run by the Department of Transportation anyhow, and they take care of those, and because of the safety and the volume of traffic and so forth, and I have to agree with it too.
It's okay.
So that's what we're doing here. Then the next thing comes up. The next Saturday is our Household Hazardous Waste Day. I think you all have a copy of the flyer attached in your thing here. We're going to spread the word. I think that Michael already had a thing in the front porch forum. We'll put some more stuff. I'm going to make sure we get copies to the website and everything. So we'll get all this ordered, and we're going to get things for the Green Up Day on there too. There'll be handouts to the children at the elementary school on both things. We're going to have them for the Household Hazardous and the Green Up Day. So we're trying to get the kids involved. you know, if we can get them involved and just, you know, just kind of get some momentum building on this thing, trying to grow it a little bit, you know.
Well, each
as we
year
go.
you educate people with it.
Yeah, that's a good thing there. So we're doing that, and then our fluorescent bulb and tube collection, that stuff has all been sent in. That went to the National Electrical Manufacturers Association. They're in charge of that, and once we get accepted by them, which should be coming probably next week or so. So we're gonna start that at the beginning of our year on July 1st. When our new permits go on sale, we will start collecting that. And Bruce and Fred and I are going up on the 15th up to Manchester for training, and it's on the, anything with the mercury things, the thermostats, the fluorescent bulbs, tubes, and then it also has batteries, paint, and the e-cycles. They have some refresher things, stuff that we're already doing except for paint. But we'll listen to what they have. I don't know how that's going to work out. We can't store paint at our facility because it's freeze anyhow. But I was down at Cars last week and I saw they had 2 skids of recycled latex paint. And I thought, well, this is nice. This is nice to see. So
Especially if we can point people to where to go. That's
exactly, you know, that's what we're here. That's what I'm going to try to do, and we can educate, and I can put this stuff in our sheets that we hand out to our customers, you know, when they come in. But basically, that's what we have going here right now. We're going to get kind of busy here pretty directly. Once this weather breaks, I know we're going to be a whole lot busier. You know,
Okay.
because it's been, I'll tell you the truth, it's been slow, but there's a lot of people out of town, you know, a lot of snowbirds, and with the weather, what's happening is people are bringing stuff for a month and then they come in and they're using a free day. I mean, our receipts are down a little bit from a normal winter, but free days are up. But I mean, that's what it's for.
when does the free day end for this year's permit?
The last day in June.
The last day in June.
June, yeah.
Okay.
The permit is good until the last day of July, but because of selling new permits July 1st, and then we only let those people use free dump days.
Yeah, I just want people out there to know
Yeah,
that when they,
it is the last day of June that we're open, so.
because we're almost to May, and like you said, now's the time they start.
It's coming quickly now, it really is, and, you know, we're gonna get busy. We have a lot of things, but, you know, once we get these storage units in, we get some things cleaned up. We had everything cleaned up before this windstorm. I mean, we had the place looking spick and span. I mean, you know, except where the stuff was frozen inside, which we had problems with, but everything on the outside was
Have you
taken
been
care
getting a
of.
lot of brush and stuff because of the windstorm?
We've got some from the town, yeah, but we haven't gotten a whole lot yet.
Yeah, but once this weather clears up, you might
Yeah.
get a lot of that.
Well, I'm looking. Yeah, I think we will. Actually, Fred that works for us, he lost his big woodshed, blew up in the air, and took off, and that was a 12 by 8 by 12 building. So,
Yeah, I just see a lot of trees falling down
well,
around town.
he lost a lot of trees too. I was fortunate I didn't lose any.
Okay.
Any questions?
How are the cats doing?
The cats are doing great. They're doing great.
Hold on a minute.
For the hazardous waste day, do people just show up? Do they need any kind of
Household Hazardous Waste Day is at Bennington
Bennington?
from
Do
8
they
till
need, like,
1.
a
You
documentation?
just have to be a resident, and you have to be able to prove that you're a resident of one of the towns in the Alliance. Okay.
But you don't need a permit for a transfer
You,
station.
no, you don't need a permit for that. Anybody can do that, but you know, and you don't need a permit to do electronic waste either. But that's it. I mean, you know, but like I said, that's up there. We'll have another one in October, and that will be in Dorset. So we have 2 a year. Act 48 started out as 3 a year, then going to 4 a year, but they backed down on that. So we're very fortunate there because these are very expensive. I mean, they're a lot of money, and you know, like I said, Michael does a really good job, you know, with things. And we have a meeting coming up in June, another Solid Waste Alliance meeting. So, and of course, I will be there for that. So, any other questions, anybody?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I may stick around listen to your spiel.
That's right.
Because I think it might be packed.
All right, public comment. You got any public comments tonight?
I'll make a quick one. Since it's not on the agenda, the hiring committee is filed in the town office, so anyone who's interested in reading minutes and agenda, it's in this blue
There's a
binder.
folder here so they can see Linda and just show them where it is. Okay. No other public comment? Okay, moving onward. Old business, website. A lot of people have been sending stuff to our website person, and she's getting bombarded. And I know a while back, the board had voted that basically Jenny be the contact person that goes through there once the board has taken action on something, and she could present it as from a board point of view. So I want to make sure that everything goes through the board here and then goes through Jenny to get there so that we don't end up driving our website person away, because we should just be so swamped with all the stuff that she'll just make sure we get it organized and do it right, okay? Next.
Also, I have a question on that. Should I be contacting Jenny then instead of going with my stuff?
Gary, are you talking about
No.
other people in the community or
No, I'm
in-house?
talking about in-house. We're the ones that pay the web design person. We're the ones that have to deal with the web person, whatever she puts up with, so forth, because we're paying for that. Has to go through us.
Not everyone else. Everyone who's been doing it, you've been communicating with her
Right.
directly. He's not
And
talking.
Yeah,
I'd
and
like-
we're not
my
clear
not
what you're
section.
saying.
Okay, that
I guess,
was
yeah,
my question.
so-
I didn't know if I had to contact.
It's like
He's
when I
talking
do
about stuff
minutes
that
and what
we're-
I- what-
no, no,
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the general stuff that you put in. What I'm talking about is people are trying to get a design change, or have the web person do something in the way of construction, the site. No, that goes through us. Okay?
Yeah, I wasn't clear what you were talking
Yeah,
about.
I'm glad you asked the question, but that's really what I'm talking about, because I want the minutes to go in, I want the various things that are going in, the reports and stuff.
Well, just a question, just clarification. Is she getting requests from outside of the select board group for design changes? Is that what's happening?
I don't know, she sent me a message that she's getting bombarded by,
Okay.
She actually specified select board group numbers.
and, yeah, well, she
And
did.
to me, and I said, you have to write to Nelson. I'm not
Yeah,
involved in that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But I'm getting, the way she sent that, it's more, it's,
I've sent her one request,
yeah.
but one. That doesn't sound like bombarding. And so I can't imagine who else is doing it.
I did.
Oh, it's you. It's you.
We better follow the rules, and Jenny will do the talking.
So mine wasn't instruction. I was just looking for input.
Yeah, there's times when I send her stuff I shouldn't too, so.
Okay.
Who does she follow? Well, she follows the select board, not me, not Jenny, not you.
Okay.
We'll get there. Okay, moving on,
well, you wanted to put newsletter under website, so
okay.
because we didn't have it on, and you said that would
Okay,
be covered
news,
under website.
oh yeah, because we're gonna talk about what goes in a newsletter.
Yep. So I sent. Can I take it away?
Sure.
I sent you all the test of the newsletter that's going to be launched tomorrow. So just want to check that you're all fine with what's going in it.
If I could just comment on it, and I apologize for not thinking about this up front, but one of the things that we really need to think about is how are we selecting the businesses that we're highlighting, and how are we selecting the things that we're highlighting, because it's incumbent on the select board to show, to one, put nothing with any political parts. I haven't seen anything politically partisan yet, but we need to make sure that it's not. And the second one is, how do we favor businesses? We need to be careful, because if we put out something that says, here's a guy who paints houses and his business goes up, we're a small town. Somebody else's business went down, and we
No.
can't show that kind of favoritism.
There's no favoritism. It's random. People, they supply information. There's a year of website every week, and all the businesses will eventually get highlighted. That's the plan.
Well,
The next one is John
let me
Bushy's garage.
I'm gonna ask a different question.
But random is a
From what I understood is from the Empower panel, there is a website that is supposed to be hosting our businesses and showing our businesses. I think that's where it belongs. I'm with you. I don't think we're gonna get blamed for being biased of choosing someone or other. And businesses and the select board shouldn't be in the business of promoting businesses unless we're bringing business to town in a way of trying to get them to build here or something else. Otherwise, I agree. I think what will happen is we're gonna miss somebody, and they're gonna come in storming because we publicized somebody
And-
else.
Well, I mean,
And to add that, it's not about
Competition.
trust, it's about a process. I mean, if we walk outside and we all get run over by a bus and somebody comes in and takes our positions, we need to have a process in place that is 100% shows 0% favoritism, shows 0% subjective, we can't be subjective about who we're picking and all that.
And
okay,
that's-
so we won't do businesses, that's fine. Sorry, John.
But I think we just don't do
I'll
business.
take it out.
But I think you can do business on your other site. that
Of course.
Empower-
I
I
was
think
just,
that's where it belongs.
I just was celebrating what people are doing in town, but if it's an issue, then I'll take it out. That's fine.
My intent was not to undermine it. My intent is to make sure that we're not showing favoritism because it's not the place of a government.
I know where you're coming from, and my
said and done.
and the board
It's
can
fine.
can override me. If you think businesses should be on that website and we're promoting and saying this business is great because of this, or here's what Joe Smo's doing, then you guys can outvote me.
And there's
Well, I mean,
absolutely
I just-
nothing wrong
I-
with the website having a permanent, I'm sorry.
Whatever. I mean, you said it, but do we want the businesses or not? I don't think it's I don't think it's a long discussion.
Well, no, I
I'm
was
happy
just
to
going to
take that
suggest,
section out.
but I was going to suggest there could be a link to the website, to the newsletter, to the Pownal Business Network.
Sure.
But without favoring any of them.
That's fine.
And
That
then
makes
they can
sense.
jump straight
Yeah.
to there.
Then are you okay with me saying there is a Pownal Business Network, even though it's not a town thing and it's my website? Then I don't want to be accused of self-promotion, but if I can solicit people to give me their business information to put on the Pownal Business Network, then I'm happy to do that too.
Well, I'm not sure. That's kind of a gray area because if there's a link and they go to the link and that message is at the top of Pownal Business Network, that's probably where it belongs.
Yes, that's what belongs. It belongs where you're not favoring any one business. Is
No.
the key.
So that's fine. So everyone's fine with me linking to the Pownal Business Network on the
Yeah,
newsletter.
I'm
That's
fine
fine
with
with me.
Okay.
What do you think, Ronnie?
That's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
As far as favoritism of highlighting people in town, I don't know the people. I see some news that
we're
I
not-
think is interesting, and
I'm shutting it off.
Okay.
We've decided what we're going to do, and I think the
so
best thing
everything
is-
else everyone approves is fine for me to put out.
Yeah, put your link out there.
Okay.
And the rest stuff is fine.
Newsletter will launch tomorrow morning.
Thank you. Oh,
Are you gonna archive newsletters on the website?
They are archived on the website already.
yep.
All you have to do is go under, if the link on the home page takes you to this form to sign up, and underneath the form is the archived newsletters. You do not need to sign up for the newsletter to read them.
And my apologies to the business that almost got highlighted.
Sorry, John. We'll put you on the PBN right away.
That's all right. Okay. Anything else to do with website stuff? Are we done with it?
I'm
Okay.
done.
I'm gonna move on to the Green Lantern solar agreements. I wanna come up
Sure, thank you.
and, I'll have you introduce yourself, and then you can explain overall what this is without going into each individual, at least just talking about the sites and what you're looking to do for the town in the way of this.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for putting me on this evening's agenda. We've spoken before a few times. My name is Ralph Mima. I live in Brattleboro, and I cover the southern counties for Green Lantern. We're based up in Waterbury, Vermont, and in a nutshell, we're a solar developer. Most of what we do is relatively small compared to a lot of the big projects that have happened. One project we've done so far in Pownal is in North Pownal on the Dean View Road extension up there on the old gravel pit, sand pit property, where there's a 500 kilowatt project. But we do them all over, and typically we'll build arrays between 150 kilowatts, which takes up about an acre, to 500 kilowatts, which takes 4 to 5 acres. Almost everything we do these days is net metered, which means that they are hooked up to the grid, but rather than selling power directly to the utilities, what the utilities do is they credit net metering credits, which are all defined in state law, to the members of the group. And so, and I know you're familiar with this because you're doing some net metering off of I guess Bill Scully's hydro plant up at the tannery. So, in the last year or two, because of changes in the regulations, we've focused more and more on landfills, gravel pits, Superfund sites, and brownfields. In other words, disturbed land where the state is trying to channel a lot of the solar development that's going on. And I knew about the landfills on Maple Grove Road, and I also knew about the Superfund landfill next to the wastewater treatment facility, because I was actually here, probably in this or one of these chairs, in December of 2015, with another developer as well, submitting proposals to do something at the wastewater treatment facility. At that point, the agreement seemed to go with them, and that was pretty much the end of my communication with folks around here for a year and a half, 2 years. But I knew that that was available, and so maybe 6 months ago I got curious again, and I just wondered if anything had ever happened on any of those sites. Discovered that it hadn't. Nelson said make a proposal. Back in December I met Tom and took a look at least the 2 landfills on opposite sides of the transfer station. And so what we propose to do is very much in line with what we're doing in many other places. And with a very stable set of contractors who we work with around the state. And that is to put 150, or probably in that size, but I'm going to preliminarily say 150 kilowatt solar arrays that are net metered on top of each of the 3 landfills. Pay rent, basically pay lease payments to the town, and start local and then work our way out in terms of finding off-takers who would be able to benefit from those projects. So my first call, and I sort of held off promising too much to too many people because, as of this moment, we don't have an agreement. But if we did have an agreement, especially after tonight, I would get in touch with Pownal Elementary, I would get in touch with Oak Hill, I would contact the folks directly at SVSU. I'd probably go up the road some distance to BRSU, and I guess it was a Bennington Rutland Supervisor Union in Sunderland. But anyway, spread the net fairly wide and see who else would be interested in this. So that's the basic picture, and I submitted a proposal on a few pages outlining this in I think it was the end of December. So we've now gone through some discussions of what agreements would look like, and they've been looked at by the town attorney, by Bob Fisher's office, and we have a copy that he seems satisfied with, so I'm really curious to hear what you think.
Yeah. The one thing I think you should highlight is, we did have other people in the past looking, but the state changed the rules on how the metering was occurring. So a lot of the people have dropped out because of those, the way they were providing credits and other things through the state. So I was surprised to hear that you were still in the business where some of the others have sort of taken a back seat and waiting to see what the state's going to do. And this year they certainly don't look like much. So
yeah, we're kind of surprised too sometimes. The tougher regulations and the lower incentives were like a huge wind that blew through solar in Vermont and caused both a lot of the smaller installers and the big national ones to leave. And to be quite frank, doing a smaller array on a landfill, especially if it's a Superfund site, is more expensive in many different ways. But we just think that this is where we need to put solar, and it'll all be pieces of a much bigger puzzle.
And we should state what the type of contracts we're looking at tonight. Basically, what you're proposing is to do a study with the contracts that we have tonight, and then we would enter into a lease agreement if the studies prove that something could be done there.
Right.
But to be clear, the terms of the lease agreement are in the initial contract for the study.
Right.
So it's not we're not signing the contract for the study and then negotiating the lease. The negotiation of the lease is already in the study, and then if we decide to move forward, those terms are already defined. I just want to make sure everybody's clear on it. It's not.
Yeah, basically, each site would be reading this. This is $3,800 a year for the first 10 years, $4,200 a year for the next 10 years, and then it could be basically a renewable process that would occur after that. For I think it's 3 more 5 years, if I remember correctly. And basically, that's the lease for the property. That's not us finding ways to use the power that comes in our municipality, the school, and otherwise that might also reap some credits for their electrical use out of this, so in the reality, the town could get more than that.
And just to be clear, it was 38, the 3,800 and the 1,000 is per site, right? So
Yes.
of the 3 sites.
Yeah,
And it's one at the
each
wastewater treatment facility and 2 at the transfer station.
Yes.
Yeah, and each contract is separate for each site.
And each is approximately 150 kilowatts.
Other questions about these contracts?
I guess my only last question is, I know we're all concerned as a town I mean, we're way ahead of the curve on a lot of this stuff. But what I also heard is if we move forward with this, you're going to be reaching out to Pownal Elementary and Oak Hill to
Absolutely.
see what they want to do.
Oh, yeah.
And that could end up being another project. I guess. So.
Well,
No,
I wouldn't
they'd be
think
selling
so.
power from these.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Exactly.
Okay.
They would be what we call off-takers or net metering customers.
Thought
It's
those
not
are
putting
horrible
another-
places to put 100.
No.
Yeah, it's not for
They
building
can't play on that solar
it's for the
panel.
use of the power. Like
Okay,
we use power
that's
from the
perfect.
hydro, it would be those off-taking,
Which would lower their cost.
yes.
Right, it would knock
Yep.
their electric bill down 12, 15%, something like that.
I have a question. So with the solar fields, I agree they should be on Superfund sites and places that we're really not gonna build anything. And you're talking about doing net metering off to places like Sutherland or all those alphabet places you just named off. And I understand the Pownal School getting some discount. I know the town will get a lease and things like that. We have a lot of solar, and it seems like people outside of here benefit from dumping solar here on our town. Is there anything that can be done for people actually in the town, a program that you guys can set up for like low-income people to help them with their power bills, since they live here and the solar's being set up here? And I just think it would be a better thing than just, hey, let's dump all our solar in Pownal and, you know, people in other places benefit. I'm great for the school benefit, it'd be great if the town could, you know, benefit from that too, but I think people that actually, you know, live here, work here should benefit in some way.
Well, that should lower, hopefully it would lower your taxes, both through the leases and through the power usage. So everybody would benefit that owns property. I agree with you, though, on the fact that there are a number of people in town that certainly could use assistance in their electrical bills.
Maybe it's a program Green Lantern could do some sort of sponsoring on to
I don't know how
make it a
you,
little palatable for having solar here.
I don't know how you manage, say there was 15 houses that all want to sign up. Is there a way of doing that?
So that's an interesting question. Those are two different but related issues. And can I speak to that one first? And then, coincidentally enough, I think today or yesterday a report came out from Vermont Law School about affordable low-income solar, because it's not cheap. And you know, we know, because even though most of our business around the state is these larger municipal and nonprofit off-takers, you know, like we've worked with Mount Snow and Grace Cottage Hospital and so forth. But we have done one community array. We're just about to start construction. It's all, the ownership is all established now in Guilford, where there are 10 households that are part owners of the array. And it's, the array is sold at a market rate, you know, to people to invest in that case, $4 a watt, $4 a DC watt. And outside of this meeting, I'd be very happy to you know, discuss how these things go. Now, that's not subsidized or or bought, you know, paid down in any particular way. We're a for-profit business. It's just a market offer. But clearly, if somebody has to spend $5 or $10 or $15 or $20,000 to get their house hooked up to a community solar array, that's a very significant investment. I mean, the ordinary people would have a lot of difficulty doing it. There are some credit unions that will finance it, but you've got to have good credit. So there are these massive barriers. We're also doing this in Newfane right now on the landfill there, and we have our permit now, our certificate of public good, and we're marketing availability of the array to folks. We had like a 6-month exclusive period for Newfane residents, and then we expanded it. The reason that I didn't make a commitment to do this type of thing in the proposals or in these agreements is that we have found that it's, at least at market rates, it's really, really hard to sell shares of community solar arrays. I've been working on getting the word out and selling in Newfane for, I don't know, 8 months probably, 7 months. And we have 11 households so far. So it's a hard sell at the current rate relative to what people can afford. Who knows? I mean, there might suddenly turn out to be enough demand in the Southshire region that one of these arrays could be populated with enough household and small business members to make it work at the market rate, which is now a little bit lower. It's 385 a watt in Newfane. I'd be really interested in exploring that. One of the reasons is that in our firm, I've kind of stuck my own neck out trying to get community solar to work. And some of my colleagues are a little skeptical of it because they want to sort of go back to the old tried and true model. So I won't say any more about that right now, but it's a big issue. And how you then take it from what we're doing to a level that's more affordable for people, I think ultimately goes back to the state. And so in this report that came out, they proposed that the state create additional incentives for people who meet certain income criteria and that type of thing. And who knows? I mean, it's possible that that's going to come up in the next session of the legislature. But I'm happy to discuss it and explore it with anybody. And then, just getting back to what Nelson was talking about, which was
15 takers. Say there was 15 people that signed up, but I think it's
Right.
the same thing. That's what you were just saying.
Yeah, I was just covering that. And so I think 30 to 40 households would be ideal for an array this size. And it starts to get complicated, but not very financially stable if we're only talking about 5 or 10. But we can certainly explore it, and I think one of the ways to do it is to basically put out a kind of invitation to express interest and see where that leads.
Yeah, because anyone that's going to apply for it, they want to know, basically, is there a savings, what the savings would be if they go through this process, how long would it take them before they actually see savings, because you're paying something out. And, I went through the process of having someone come at my house and try to do that, and I was going to put a system in, but at the time, it's probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
At the time, it would take me 30 years before I recover enough, and at my age, I'd be 100 and something, so it wouldn't fit, just wouldn't be there.
It's about 15 years now, right? Or
It's
something?
11.2 in our current offering.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's a
Which
long
makes
time
it-
if you're in your
Yeah.
50s, 60s, like,
70s, 80s.
be dead, yeah.
But you can sell them and you can leave them to people too.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's I think what would happen is, in someone like my case, you'd be doing it for the house, and it basically makes the house of more value, maybe to the
Right.
next person that's coming. So, okay, but thank you for that. I guess the question we're asking is, what's the pleasure of the board with the contracts? Has everybody had a chance to see these?
Mhm.
I know they came around to us in the mail and the rest. If people are in agreement, I need a motion for me to sign them, and then we'll move forward with the study, and then we come back.
Make
and,
the motion, you sign them.
I second it.
Okay, any further discussion?
I do. Ralph, I just wanted to make you aware that in one of the agreements, it would be the one for the wastewater treatment facility. The location is Dean Road, not Furlong.
Oh,
I
Oh,
made
yes.
that correction.
oh yeah,
I noted it on the map as well,
great.
so that,
But the contracts are correct?
yeah, they're correct.
So is the driveway that goes down along the river to the wastewater treatment facility also Dean Road?
I think it's considered part of the
They
wastewater
consider-
treatment
They
Part
facility.
of
consider
it.
that a driveway off of Dean Road.
Got
Yes.
it, okay.
Yeah.
Just past the
Yes.
railroad tracks.
Yes,
That's right.
it doesn't have a
Yeah.
name of its own.
It has a
It has
road
a-
sign on it, but
Yeah.
it's like, wait,
It
it's
just,
W.
it identifies our
yeah.
plant.
Got it, okay. Sure.
Okay,
And the wastewater plant one, the profit goes to the wastewater treatment facility, right? Is that how that works?
You'll have to help me
We're
understand
gonna-
ownership.
Okay.
we're gonna have to we as a select board will make that determination as we go.
Got
But
it.
what we're looking at is the wastewater site, so that site lease would go there At the time we finalize these leases, that's what we'll do. And then the other one will go to the general fund.
Okay.
Okay? There's two separate budgets.
Castle's
that-
own. This only requires Nelson's signature.
Yes. So, any further discussion? Not all those in favor say
I'm not clear
aye.
on that, that last statement you just made there. The lease part goes to the, it's gonna go to the,
I said that's gonna be discussed for an option at the time we sign for the lease agreement for the
because
money.
there's gonna be a lot of heat on that because that's supposed to be financed by the users. See? I mean, all I'm saying is, that you're gonna get some feedback on that, no matter, so we better think about that a little bit before we jump on the wagon. It's either gonna go to the town in itself, and it's in an entity, which that's part of the town. So, but to go directly to that, I don't know if that's,
We'll have to talk about that.
That's
Because the site is a Superfund site as a whole and a separate identity by the EPA and the state. So the real question comes down is that part of the wastewater setup or not? And we'll debate that when the time comes, because at this point, the money isn't going anywhere at this point, because we don't have
we
it.
wanna get the study going and see if they can. do
Even,
it.
because it might not even happen.
Just sign the papers, we'll move along.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
What capacity is Pownal at in terms of like our state requirements for solar?
I would say that that's a question for the BCRC, because they drew up something that basically stated that each municipality, they were looking at a specific amount, and I'm not sure if we haven't met it. Okay,
Do you know that
We're-
answer?
I do know that Jim said that we're very, very close, and so therefore we could actually, especially after these installations, we could advocate like in the town plan for personal solar and things like that, as opposed to large arrays anymore, because we're like that close to
I
it.
believe-
But I will find out the exact numbers for the 2050.
I believe that's what Mike Batcher said at the planning
Yeah.
commission meeting as well, so.
Yeah.
I think this would end our quota,
It
I
absolutely
think.
would, and
Well,
so that you
it-
could advocate for only small use personal solar.
Yeah, and there's wording that's actually in the town plan that gives us some ability to do that.
I'm
And
gonna
I'm
find out
sure
the
that,
exact numbers,
and I'm
though.
sure that when they get to the bylaws, they'll also address that, because, you know, I think landfills, Superfund sites are ideal for this, because they're not much use for anything else. You can't put housing or anything on them. And it's what we really,
Yeah,
and if we can meet the quota by doing it that way, that's the way to go.
yeah.
Okay, moving on. Linda will give you copies of those?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, do you want to keep the inked hard copy? You can,
Okay.
because if you want, I can sign before I leave.
Do you wanna sign them now then?
Sure.
Yeah. How was the mountain drive over?
Well, it was springtime until I guess I got to Wilmington, and then it turned into winter. Yeah, Woodford.
Really,
was,
it's spring in Brattleboro?
Oh, yeah.
It's all move.
Kind of with a. It's not really winter anymore, but it was winter up in Woodford, that's for sure.
My sister lives up there. They had 3 feet and still has snowfall on top
No,
of
that's
that.
not, just not okay.
It's all right if you like snowmobiling and snowshoeing and skiing and all that.
In February.
You know, but, what do you mean February? 8 months a year.
You'll find that in August up there.
Yeah,
I know
Yeah.
those ski slopes are loving it right now.
right.
I bet Prospect is still open.
Yeah, Prospect's still going up there.
Well, I really appreciate your approving this, and I look forward to working with you all. And I think this is really exciting because it's not just one site; it's 3, and so we have a whole crew to to put to work on them in succession. And I spoke with, thank you. I spoke with the with A&R today too, just to let them know that I was coming to this meeting. And so we haven't done a Superfund site before. So this is going to be a lot of interesting and new steps. So,
Yep,
yeah, so thank you very much.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck driving home.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Take it slow.
Be careful,
I'm
yeah.
gonna say, be careful. Okay, moving on. One thing left, guys. Selectmen appointments. Okay, we were all giving something by Linda that shows the various positions.
Take care.
Night, Rob.
First of all, we want to thank everybody that applied for applying. We're very glad to see that people have showed interest in serving for the town. And that said, we can go down. Did you put any names beside people who had nobody else that was applying? I'm looking like at the fence viewer, David Dents, that I assume junior. These optional things, nobody else was applying for those, right?
No, that was the only person.
Okay.
And the optional means is related to the legislation for July 1. That would make that position an optional position for the town
Oh, because,
to, yes, because it will change. You won't need to have it,
yeah, they're doing away with them through the
you're
legislation.
doing away, yeah.
Okay.
If we wish to keep them, we do. If we don't,
We had nobody apply for small animals or large animal care, pound
not in
keeping.
years.
Okay. Okay, I'll go down. Fence viewer, surveyor of wood, inspector of shingles, and tree warden, David Dents Jr. What's the board's pleasure? To appoint?
Motion to appoint
Second.
David Dents?
Yep. Any further discussion on that?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
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 We don't have anybody for the home help rep. Emergency management coordinator, Craig Odell.
Motion to appoint?
Second.
Any discussion? He's been doing a great job.
Mhm.
He has had this water problem and a whole bunch of other stuff to handle this past year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
BCRC, Rebecca Dragon, for 3
Motion to
years. That's the only
Second.
person that applied, right?
Mhm.
But you would have won anyway.
Well, the question is, do you wish to say anything, or are you?
I would like to be reappointed. I enjoy going to the meetings and hearing what's going on regionally.
Okay, that's good. And the camera could swing and show who that is. Okay, I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Who's my
Okay.
second?
Was no second? I thought.
Bob, yeah.
Yeah, that was the second.
Thank you.
Okay. Planning Commission.
Do we,
I'm gonna say the board consists of 9 members with no alternates. The following have requested appointment to the planning board. There's a 4-year, a 3-year, and a 1-year. We have 4 people: Fred Miller, Megan Randall, she'll shoot me, Barbara True Weber, Michelle Pecro, Pecro. I always want to say. Okay, what's the board pleasure?
How do we do it? Do we discuss?
Yeah, you can discuss if you wish. You can make a motion and then discuss. If you want, somebody wants to make a motion that the 3 to appoint and how to appoint. Want to pick them one at a time? Do that.
Fred, do you want 4, 3, or 1? He's the only one who's here, so which one was your preference?
Michelle's here.
Michelle's here.
Oh, and Michelle's there, sorry. And well, Fred is someone I'm gonna motion
So
for,
it's a
so.
4. And do you have
go
a
for
preference?
4?
You want the 1?
So I would motion for Fred for the 4-year.
Okay, let's do one at a time then. Get a second for that.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, seems how we have people here, and for the,
Can I just speak about Barbara True Weber, what I know about her? She's retired, but her whole history is energy, which is gonna be the next part of what they're doing. So I would recommend her for the 3-year, because that's gonna take up a lot of that 3 years. From her letter, I think she's the most experienced to do that and would offer the most to the planning commission.
okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Michelle, did you say 1 or 3? Well, just the counter to that would be Megan has put in a lot of effort in the town, and has showed up at a lot of these meetings, and she's generated some. I really like what she's doing with that whole cleanup thing.
Oh, yeah.
And making it fun.
I would
I
push
think
for her for the 1 year.
I would recommend her for the 3-year.
Okay.
So I would recommend Barbara for the 3-year and Megan for the 1 year.
And we're gonna do one at a time.
Okay.
I need a motion for the 3-year.
I motion for Barbara.
I get a second to that? No second heard. Give me the next one. Motion.
Motion for Megan for the 3-year.
Get a second for that one. No second, we won't be appointing. All right. We're gonna go to the
Should
1
we
year.
call Jason and add him to the
Well,
conversation
yeah.
since we can?
Michelle, are you sure you don't want the 3-year? Just ask.
They got you here, you know,
Yeah, no, that works.
sometimes it's when the people aren't here. they
So
just-
let's talk, so do you have an issue with Barbara?
I don't, but just from the reading both of them, reading both of the applications, the one that focused more on the needs of the citizens was Megan's.
Megan said, I'm interested. Barbara said, this is my experience.
Oh, well, that's correct.
I'm not,
No, I'm
here's
just
where,
having, this is the conversation, right? Can
Yeah,
we
Well, let's
have
go
it?
through them again then.
So let's-
I'll
let's
second
just
one of them.
read-
I
let's-
don't know either one.
Well, there's a third now.
well, let's-
Hold on.
Yes to 3 years.
Well, let's read their letters.
You worried about the 3-year one?
Just remember, whomever takes the 1 year, next March, the vacancy opens and it becomes a 4-year,
These are all 4-year
if they wish
terms.
to continue, right?
This is how much is left. That don't mean.
Because you're filling someone's
And who
slot.
else wants these jobs? If they've been there,
I'm I'm with you,
Okay.
Ronnie. That's why I was trying to get motions here.
We've
Hey,
got,
Well, let's go through it again there. I'll
So
get a second on
Well,
this.
can we just read their letters
sure.
out loud?
Read it.
So Barbara wrote, to whom it may concern my understanding, blah, 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 my husband and I moved, and blah, blah, blah. We find ourselves interested in the community. Over the last year, I followed the Select Board, Planning Commission, and Empower Pownal efforts closely. The opportunities and obstacles seem clear and interesting. Particularly the work of the Planning Commission in thinking about the future and shape of Pownal holds much promise. My own interests are centered on problems of the climate crisis. Of course, the climate crisis is multifaceted and includes many of the things the Planning Commission is responsible for thinking about: land use, economic development, natural resources, and most of all, energy issues. I'm convinced that the most important government is the local government and would be proud to serve Pownal on the Planning Commission. And Megan wrote, do you mind that I'm reading them?
go ahead.
Dear Nelson, this is to request to be appointed to the Pownal Planning Commission. As an architect's daughter, I have always been interested in the combined importance of imagination and data, not just emotion, in planning for a future that works. I am particularly interested in the aesthetic aspects of planning for Pownal. I have a strong imaginative faculty. I am well educated and I love to write, so I believe I would be useful to the commission. I mean, they're
Okay,
both
and
awesome.
then-
So
And then Michelle's is I'm writing this letter to request appointment to the Pownal Planning Commission. I've lived here for over 10 years, and as many of you know, I'm sorry, for almost 10 years, and as many of you know, I am regularly involved in local town happenings. I attended several select board meetings, sorry, I lost my place. I've attended several select board meetings a year, as well as PC meetings and regional meetings. I started reading the town plan 4 years ago when I learned the plan's role in our municipality and how it helps to inform bylaws and land use. I have closely followed its progression to a new town plan, now awaiting to be approved. I helped collaborate with other citizens to read and evaluate every aspect of the proposed plan. Also in collaboration with other citizens of Pownal, I helped research town plans from other municipalities, the BCRC regulations regarding the town plan requirements, even attending the BCRC energy hearing last year with the head of the PUC, formerly the PSB, June Tierney. Through the past 4 years, I have received a real education on matters of renewable energy, energy siting, and matters of deference in relation to Act 174 through my involvement with Annette Smith and the Vermonters for a Clean Environment. I am also well versed in matters of land use, housing, economic development, and entrepreneurism and municipal infrastructure. I believe I am uniquely qualified to serve on the Planning Commission because of my history of local involvement and understanding of what the role of Planning Commission is, and also local and state regulations regarding the creation and implementation of town plans. I am used to working with all kinds of people in a group, setting to achieve common goals. I want to serve on the Planning Commission to help Pownal look forward to and adopt the changes that are coming down the pike, while also fiercely preserving what makes Pownal so unique. I have a deep and abiding respect for generations that came before us that have made Pownal what it is today. It is my mission to help create a vision of Pownal that incorporates and listens to all voices, and my service on the Planning Commission will be in that spirit. If appointed to the Planning Commission, I will ensure that our meeting nights I am able to attend and put my personal business aside. So based on that, I would
Well,
motion for
based
Michelle for
on-
3 years.
3 year? I had heard 1 year before. Are you saying
Fine.
3 years okay?
That's fine.
Okay, so you
I'll
got
be
3.
here, so might as well.
Okay. I'll take a motion.
I would,
Nominate, Michelle for the 3-year.
I'll
How's
second.
that? Now you gotta-
Okay. We've all heard the details and stuff. Is there any more to discuss? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Ayes have it.
I'll nominate Barbara True Weber again for that other.
I will second it.
Okay. Any further discussion on that one? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, abstentions? Ayes have it. Okay, so that takes care of those. And could you send a message to Megan, letting her know that we appreciate her interest? And we do have other positions. Okay, moving on to the DRB. We have a 3-year. We have to fill a remainder 2 years, and we have 1 alternate for the planning board.
The DRB.
DRB, I'm
I'm
sorry.
like,
I'm
can we
thinking
just do
planning
that?
board because of all the members there. Now, Sid and Mike are members of the planning board at the moment. Did either one of their terms in?
No, I don't think so. On the planning board?
Yeah, they weren't one of them
Sid's
that.
term, Sid asked to be reappointed. His term expired for the DRB. Dave Toohey's expired for the DRB. Matt would be a new member, and Michael would be a new member.
Okay, but basically, Sid and Mike at the moment are members of the PC still?
Correct.
That's what I wanted to.
Correct. But they're not on
But
the list.
but Sid is a member of the DRB,
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, Sid is.
Yes, it
currently.
is.
And so isn't Dave Toohey, right?
Dave too, that's right.
All right, so what would you like to do with the 3-year?
I would motion for Sid.
He's
Yeah.
already staying.
Who's there,
He's
who
on
wants
it.
to stay?
Well, there's 7, I don't know, the way I understand it, the way I read it there, it consists of 7 members and 2 alternates. The following have requested, well,
Well, there's two
Sid.
positions that ended.
2 of them are already there. Sid and Tui, right?
Right, and the,
Mr. Tui, I think I pronounced that right. I don't-
We need 3 individuals for the 3-year.
and we have 4 people.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll second that Sid deal. I just
For the
don't
3-year,
understand how to-
for the 3-year for
3,
Sid.
yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, ayes, nays, abstentions? Okay, ayes have it. Okay, now we have to fill the remainder of a 2-year.
And we need to keep going on the 3 years.
Oh,
What?
there's 3 of them?
3 years.
Yes.
There's
Oh,
3 of them for 3 years?
Oh,
Yes.
good lord.
I thought
That's
there
what I
were
mean.
only,
We got
Okay.
slots here.
Nope, he's right.
I didn't read that correctly. I
Me
motion
either.
for Mike Slattery for the next 3-year.
Get a second for that?
I'll second that. And I'll make a motion for Matt Gardner for the other 3-year.
I'll second that.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so we got 2 that, two motions going here.
Well, I just second it.
Yeah,
We
but I
gotta-
got 2.
We gotta vote on it, that's all.
Yeah. And make a vote, I'll take the vote on Mike Slattery. All those in favor say aye.
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 Yeah, I have it, no nays, abstentions. Matt Gardner for the other 3-year.
Aye.
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 Okay. And for the alternate,
Well, now we have the
Fill remainder
2-year.
2-year.
2-year, I'm sorry, remainder 2-year.
We ain't got anybody left.
Well, Dave
2E.
Tui.
Oh, well, I nominate him to finish that off.
Okay, so I get a second for that one?
I'll second 2E.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No abstentions or nays. Come on, guys, we have to fight hard to get these people to volunteer.
I know it, that's why I thought
John, you
there
wanna
was
be an
enough
alternate?
openings for everybody.
And we still have an alternate on the DRB if somebody wishes to do that.
Right.
You want to be on the DRB? Alternate?
Come on.
You can think about it and come back and tell us.
It's an
Yeah,
alternate.
nobody.
You'd be there, you get to learn.
You can let us know in a week or so. How's that? I give you
Will
enough
do.
time to think about it?
Got another meeting next week, right?
Or go to a DRB and
See what it is.
sit in and
See if you like it.
All right.
I think,
Oh,
what do they only, the
oh,
alternate
so
only
I
votes
gotta say,
when
you've said it at
someone's
DRB,
absent.
didn't they do a hearing
Yeah,
on one of yours?
I've seen them quite a few times.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you've gone to well, that's basically what you'd be doing. for
Quasi
me.
judicial board, that's all.
You just be on the
Yeah.
other side.
Yeah, I gotta sit on that side of the
That's all right.
It's not that scary.
Okay. Where were we at? Okay, moving on.
Looks like
Okay, I have
Rebecca
a
gets to
typo
be
on
a
page 2.
BCRC twice.
Yep,
Page
no.
2,
Just saw it,
BCRC
just saw
delegate.
it, Yeah, just saw it.
She's already.
She's already
been
set, I'm like,
nominated.
okay.
Conservation Commission, 4-year vacant. We got 4 people we need
Totally
there.
vacant.
We have nobody applying. If somebody is interested, please let us know. Recreation Board, Pownal School Summer Program. These are the people who have shown an interest again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Tracy Bickering.
Motion
Shannon.
for Tracy and Shannon.
Okay, got a motion for both. Get a second for that?
I'll
Second.
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Just a-
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
aye, nays, abstentions. McClenathan, what's the other one? One last name.
Shannon,
Shannon,
nice
yeah.
lady.
Yeah,
Should be a good addition.
yeah. Lister,
I like her name. I motion Hyacinth.
that's what I wanted to know, Hyacinth. Burnham.
The
Got a motion?
the only thing I didn't know about this for sure, and we tried to look into it, is whether or not it was required that you're a citizen of the town that you're applying for.
She's from Bennington, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
we were unable to get an answer quickly enough for this meeting.
Well, let's hold off on it.
Should we- yeah.
You withdraw your motion,
I withdraw my motion for Hyacinth,
and we'll wait. Okay,
Yeah, we'll wait and see if it's okay.
because hopefully it is, because we
I
need another
couldn't
lister.
find anything
Sure
right
we do.
away in the statutes, but
once we,
I would
Uh,
like to have it clarified,
probably the
Yeah.
Secretary of State.
yes.
Auditor. We need 3 of them. We got 2 people that are interested, Melissa Collins and Rebecca Dragon.
I
Aye,
nominate
motion.
Melissa Collins, how's that?
How about both of them?
Well, I'll nominate both of them. And Rebecca Dragon. I want both of them in there. I think they're both great.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion?
How much do, I mean, I'm not questioning it, I'm just asking the auditor, do they audit all of the books in the office? How extensive is the
Basically,
math of the auditing?
basically Linda can answer this better than me, because we hire a professional auditor to come in and do the audit every year, but we do have the I can tell you what Clint did. Basically, randomly came in and audited once in a while of the records that, like these, like warrants and stuff. But
And the only reason I ask is because it was the one I had the most trouble finding anything about.
well, let's Linda.
There is a handbook specifically for the,
The last
I call it
auditor.
the inside auditor, the town auditor. Preferably, I would like to see warrants be audited prior to a select board meeting. In all the years that Dave Adams worked with us, it worked out very well so that I felt comfortable that the warrants were correct to the best of our ability. The board could feel comfortable, especially during a situation where there were no board meeting and the chair or the vice chair had to come in and sign the warrants, that what is before them has been looked at by an auditor prior to their signature. I think that it gives a level of comfort. In addition to that, they would also check the reconciliation of the treasurer's checkbooks. They would help with the financial statements you received tonight with the fund balances. You noticed it says unaudited at the top. That those individuals would look those over to make sure those numbers appear to be correct.
So the reason I asked is I sat with Linda for 2 hours and, not Linda, sorry, Ellen for 2
Yes.
hours, to learn about her budgets and how it all, and it's pretty complex. So I just wanted to make
They
sure that
also
they
are-
understood that
Very
it's complex
fortunate.
and that
Yeah.
you,
They also are the individuals who would prepare the town report at the end of the year.
would the town administrator end up doing that? That's gonna be something that's
Well, they,
possibly changes, right?
he's probably gonna work
So-
with the auditors, because I think the
Right.
auditors are required
We
to
all
do it.
work.
Everyone
on
works
that.
together.
Everybody works on that.
And so are there auditing classes to take?
Yes.
Because I know, because you
They
wrote
call
that
them
you
symposium.
have basic math, and so I just want to make sure you know what you're getting into.
So I had a very long conversation with Ellen.
Yeah.
And sat down because I was actually considering maybe one of the lister positions as well. And I talked to her about what the requirements of each of those were, and she seemed to feel that with training that there would be that I felt like it was something I could comfortably do. And so. A few hours a week until town report time comes, and then it's like a big push to get that done. So I picked that one over the lister because the lister seemed more involved, and I still have young children. So
I know that the listers have trainings that you can
Yes.
go to. Are there trainings for
Yes.
auditors
Yes.
also?
There is.
So that's what I'm
Be
asking.
happy to go.
Because I don't think that we want to put it on Linda, Ellen, and Julie,
our
anyone in the
former
office to do the
auditor-
training.
That Dave Adams, who was an excellent auditor,
Yeah.
that's what he did for a living. No, he was excellent, and I understood through the scuttlebutt of the town that he would be very happy to help these
I was
people.
told the same
Oh,
thing,
good.
that he would
And that
train
too
us
needs to help
personally.
him.
That's great.
Because he knows this town and how the auditing process goes,
Right.
particularly
That's
in
the
And
only
he put
part I
all
don't
his
understand.
information back onto the town's computers.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, I think he went to a couple of the courses too. So
Yes,
it doesn't
he had
hurt.
auditing back
So there's
I'd
a
be happy to
safety
get more
net, that's
education,
good.
but I also, that's what I understood was that he would come and he'd be more than willing to sit down
Yeah.
for hours and train
And
us
Melissa,
on
you're the
everything.
same. You feel the
Oh, yeah.
same way?
Yep.
Great, because I
Good.
don't see you looking up. just on your
Okay,
phone.
I have a motion, I had a second. Is the discussion done?
Yeah, I just wanted to learn more about it. And if
Oh.
you can send me that, because that's one thing that's really doesn't have a lot on the website of the whole thing that I posted about all the positions.
Auditor,
You can send me the auditor handbook, like where I can find it, and then I'll have it linked on
That's
the
available
website.
through the league,
from at least
that
cities in
handbook.
town.
Okay,
all
great.
handbooks.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? Ayes have it. Okay, grand juror, nobody, trustees for public money, town agent, and the constable. So we're done appointing, we're gonna find out, one, about the person that's, doesn't live in our town to do with listers, and see what that is. And we have one other candidate that's gonna think about it and get back to us in a week. With that said, any other business before us?
Motion adjourned.
Got a motion to adjourn.
I will second. Fine.
All
Got
those,
it.
all
You got
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're out of here. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks, guys.